We thought we knew the outcome. When he made his declaration, the headlines screamed loyalty, a feel-good story for Rakuten fans, praising the player for rejecting the lure of the open market. But buried deep within the negotiation documents, hidden beneath the surface of the declaration of intent to stay, was a clause so restrictive, so punitive, that it didn't just lock him down, it completely extinguished his trade value for the next 48 months, transforming a standard retention into a brutal, non-negotiable 4-year prison sentence. Welcome back to 605 News 1, where we dissect the contractual nightmares that turn dream seasons into long-term organizational shackles. And today, we are tearing apart the chilling situation surrounding Tatsumi's unexpected and frankly cataclysmic 4-year bind with the Golden Eagles. The raw, unfiltered frustration pouring out from the fanbase is entirely justified. This move, confirming he must stay with Rakuten for the next 4 years because of how the declaration was structured, a mechanism that grants the club extraordinary control when a player elects to stay rather than testing free agency immediately, is less a reward for loyalty and more an economic execution. This isn't just bad timing, it's a perfect storm of poor individual performance meeting cynical front office tactics. Let's be clear. This decision to accept the declaration terms has placed Tatsumi into a sort of self-inflicted war criminal status in the trade market. He has essentially neutered his own ability to move, no matter how much his cumulative skill and defensive metrics might suggest he deserves a fresh start. As one veteran agent, whom we'll call Mr. K, described it to us off the record, they let him declare, which looks good optically. But they knew his OBP had dropped 40 points this year to .285, and his perceived volatility had already scared away the conservative teams. Rakuten used that slump as a shield, demanding a commitment period so long that it signaled to the entire league, this asset is non-transferable, and if you try to acquire him later, the cost will be astronomical. The shock isn't just about the length, it's about the context. This binding comes at a time when center field issues are absolutely chronic across the league. We analyzed the numbers. 4 of the 12 teams registered below league average production from the premium CF spot last season, struggling particularly with defensive runs saved, a category where Tatsumi remains elite, clocking 12 DRS even during his offensive slump year. This was the window for a team like the Giants or the Carp, both desperately needing a Gold Glove caliber outfielder to swoop in and offer a package. But now, they can't. The moment Tatsumi accepted the terms, he became poison. The counter-argument, which you hear echoed by some traditionalist commentators, is that the player must accept responsibility. They argue that his highly publicized eccentric behavior and his history of expressing dissatisfaction with the organization are the real reasons nobody wants to touch him, suggesting he earned this self-inflicted exile. They claim if he had just been a professional and focused on his numbers, the team wouldn't have dared impose such a tight harness. But that narrative ignores the simple, brutal economics of the declaration rule, which gives the initial club disproportionate leverage when a player is vulnerable. Rakuten understood that the combination of a down year and his public persona made him uniquely susceptible to this kind of contractual strangulation. This was the front office seeing an opportunity to secure a high-valued defensive asset for 4 years, while simultaneously ensuring that no rival could ever easily acquire him via trade, effectively stabilizing their defense while devaluing the player's personal agency to zero. This wasn't retention. This was, as veteran analyst Kenzo Tanaka put on our channel last week, hostile acquisition. They declared him a functional, untradeable asset. The drama reaches a devastating climax when you consider the dreams he had. We know Tatsumi dreamt of competing on the biggest stage, perhaps the Central League, where the pressure and visibility are inherently different. Now those dreams are deferred, if not outright extinguished, by 4 years of grinding out games in the Pacific League, perpetually wearing the uniform he often looked uncomfortable in. This isn't just about baseball, it's about the psychological toll of commitment without escape. The chilling plot twist here is that Rakuten may not even want him for the whole 4 years. By securing the term, they have protected themselves against the risk of him performing well next year and leaving for nothing. If he continues to struggle offensively, they now have a cheap, elite defender for the price of locking him into a contract no one else will touch.
They might use the next 2 seasons to develop a replacement, and if the market still ignores him due to the lingering 4-year bond, they could potentially release him or trade him for minimal cost, having extracted maximum utility. The only way out of this labyrinth is a miracle, a true, undeniable awakening.
Tatsumi needs to use these 4 years of unexpected incarceration to refocus with a furious intensity, proving that the volatility is confined only to his personality, not his performance. He must achieve a level of offensive dominance that completely overrides the risk of his contractual bondage. He needs to transform into a player so devastatingly good, perhaps hitting over 300 with 20-plus home runs while maintaining that elite defense, that a rival club becomes desperate enough to overlook the 4-year term and pay the outrageous premium Rakuten will inevitably demand. The next 4 seasons will define Tatsumi's career. Either he breaks free through sheer force of will, achieving that miracle awakening, or he becomes the league's most cautionary tale about the pitfalls of loyalty under the declaration system. We want to know your take. Do you think Tatsumi can use this 4-year sentence to spark a comeback, or is his trade value dead on arrival? Let us know in the comments below, and if you want more deep dives into the hidden contracts and political plays of Japanese baseball, make sure you like this video, share it with your fellow fans, and subscribe to 605 News 1 for continuous, unfiltered analysis.